Hi everyone, today I'm going to do a quick video showing you how to adapt blush trends to suit your face shape, whether you want to add fullness to your cheeks like a cheek filler effect, whether you want to sculpt more, whether you want to lift. There are so many different styles and it's really making it work for you. So I'm going to use a cream textured blush. I'm actually going to use a lipstick, in fact. This is Velvet Duchess, so it's a shade that I would wear more in the winter. Sometimes these just sit on my shelves and they're not being used during the summer at all. So I quite like to use them for blush because they're more vibrant for blush, more enlivening, and I quite like to kind of dip into those wintry shades just for a really good pop of colour. So I'm going to use Velvet Duchess. I'm actually going to use a little bit of highlighter first. I'm going to use that onto my cheekbones, but also coming onto the front of my cheeks here. Just going to do that because it's going to add a little bit more volume as well. So as I say, your placement is really different depending on your face shape. Of course, there are trends in blush styles as well, but not every trend suits every face. A really good example, I think, would probably be the one that's trending now, which is just having blush really high up here, which on me, because I have quite a long, thin face, so if I just blush up here, if anything, my face looks even longer, particularly the lower third of my face here. So I always like to add as much volume to the front of my cheeks and to have it not too far down, obviously, but in a way that it breaks up the length in my face. I'll show you how I do it and also give you tips if you have a wider face or if you're looking more for lifting. Because also, I do want to lift my face as well, but I don't want to lift it to the point where I'm having this, so much space without any blush that it really is lengthening everything. So if I was to put my blush just here and here, it kind of moves my cheeks all the way up, but then it means that there's this much face without any blush. So this becomes almost the lower third of my face becomes extended and longer. So if I'm going to do my blush, I like to add a little bit of highlighter and I start not too low, but if I think that this is the part of my cheek that I want to volumize, but also I want to create interest here so that this bottom half of my face is shorter. So I would start around the apple of the cheeks, and then I would start to sweep up a little bit from there. And just priming that brush, there's not too much colour on there when you've got cream blush on as well. Because always nice to build up, but not start with too much in the first place. The majority of the blush I kind of want there, but then I also need to soften that. So I'll go back in with a brush that I've used for foundation and make it a little bit lighter here. You can use two shades. I've seen people using two shades, but I'm like, just go back in with your foundation brush and it will lighten that front bit anyway. Just use that to kind of take off the edge there. And having that highlighter underneath obviously gives a nice bit of volume there. And then from the front, kind of want all of my colour here blending out. So that's just on one side. And I think another tip would be not to really smile before you do it, because obviously when you stop smiling, it drops right down. So I do it kind of when I'm very straight-faced and relaxed, looking in the mirror. So I kind of feel, okay, this is where I want a bit of volume. This is where I want my cheek filler here. And this is where I feel like I'm slightly creating enough interest to hopefully make my face feel less long. I'm going to show you, if I was to just do it high up this side, how much longer my face would look. I mean, it's a really cute way of doing blush. I like this style. Doesn't necessarily work for me. And if I was going to do this style of blush, I would still bring it down probably lower. Again, because I would want to not have my face feel as long as it would if I just had the blush very high up. So this style of blush means that I have a lot of lower face, so I wouldn't necessarily want to do that. But if you have a very short lower face, this style looks really, really good and really suits your face shape. So if I wanted to do this kind of style on me, I would finish with a lighter version, but I would come round again a little bit lower here just to create that volume for me. I'm going to go in with a touch more highlighter to blend this in. And I'd go in as well with my foundation brush, which just lightens up that front bit. And obviously, I'm going to blend it there. So that's a way for me to have a higher blush, but also to still have colour on the front of my cheeks. So just by bringing that down a little bit lower, I'm still getting that lifted cheek look, but also it's flattering my face shape. So it's kind of breaking up the lower half of my face, but also helping again with the volume on the cheek. So I kind of can make both of those styles work, I think, without compromising my face shape or the style of blush that I feel like wearing that day. So if you do have more of a round face and this section of your face is shorter, something that is much higher will obviously really help with that. And also something that's a bit more sculptural as well, because I didn't really come very far back here because I don't tend to do a lot of contouring personally on myself. But if I wanted to create a thinner looking face, I would bring the blush a little bit more into the contoury area here. So still keeping it high, but creating a very soft version. Let me just get my foundation brush of more of a contoured look with blush. So I'm really kind of carving out a bit of a cheekbone there. And obviously this would work really well with your contour as well. So you'd probably put your bronzer or your contour on first and then kind of mimic that with your blush. For me, it wouldn't work because if I had contour there and then blush in that shape, again, I'm hollowing out my face, which is not particularly a look that I go for. It just doesn't suit me. So this side of my face now looks thinner, which is not usually my plan, but if I had a round face, this style of blush would work so well. Whereas this side, hopefully I've got that volume. And again, just adding a little bit of highlighter, because highlighter is reflecting all of the light. It's giving you a three-dimensional look. So I very often bring that highlighter down onto the kind of fattest bit of my cheek. As I say, I don't smile because you always put it too low. Stay looking glum and solemn, look straight in and tap kind of on the center of your apple without smiling. And that again gives that volume. So we've got that width there, the width to the front of the cheeks. And I think you can see now that hopefully I'll relax, actually stop talking, that I still look thin this side. My face looks fuller this side and my face looks less long this side. So I think to recap, blush styles come and go, trends in blushes come and go, shapes of blush come and go. It's really about, yes, incorporating the trends because it's nice to update your makeup, but making it work for you and your face. Hope this was helpful. Do let me know in the comments if you have any ideas for any new videos and any tips for how you like to do your blush as well. Lots of love. Bye.